Now, another organization that you've started or were part of starting is United Arts Alliance. And why do you feel that we need to have an alliance of arts organizations? What is the reason to have groups like that work together?
Well, Judith Dietert Moriarty really started United Arts Alliance. She got a group of us together in her living room back in 1996, I think. And we talked about what eventually did become UAA, United Arts Alliance. I think, you know, all of us in this community, for the size of this community, we have an incredible number of arts organizations. It's amazing how many theater organizations alone we have. And we're all out there sort of like constantly recreating the wheel. And I think having a consortium, an alliance, the idea is to help each other if we can, when we can, to be more aware of each other, and we are stronger. Any group of people is stronger when they come together than as individuals. And so the mission of UAA is to really help support and promote all of the arts in Rock County. And we've been growing. Oh, it really is amazing. I've really been blown away the more I've learned about the arts in this area and how many new groups keep popping up. You mentioned I started Spotlight on Kids. Spotlight on Kids became a nonprofit theater company in 1994, and 2 years after that, Theater Unlimited started. But prior to Spotlight on Kids, Janesville Little Theater has been around over
I think they're celebrating
60,
80
70,
years
is it
now.
80 years now?
This year, yeah.
Yeah, and they came from that little theater movement that was all around the United States back during the Depression. It was one of the I forgot what it's called.
So the arts continue to blossom.
Yes, it's amazing, and there's constantly new people coming up and new things happening.
Changing gears because you do so much and we have so little time. You're also a professional storyteller.
I am a storyteller.
How does one become a professional storyteller?
Well, you know, I don't like bandying around the word professional very much because, again, it separates people. Technically, if you're a professional actor, it doesn't necessarily mean you're good, but it means you make your living at acting. I'm a storyteller. I do get paid for storytelling. I don't really make my living at it. It's hard making your living at the arts at any level. But I also do so much storytelling just because of the love of storytelling. And I started doing storytelling back in my early 20s with a man named David Child, who started the Alice Liddell Children's Theater Company in Chicago. And Alice Liddell is the little girl Lewis Carroll wrote Alice in Wonderland for. So I started doing storytelling with him, and he really taught me what I call creative dramatic story theater, where you take a story and you work with kids and you act the story out and you make the story your own, so you're retelling the story. And that's an art form I still use today with my Head Start kids and other kids that I work with.
So what makes a good story?
Oh, well, you have to have some type of universal appeal. Even if it's a story that's like a story that's been written and it's not somebody's true story, it has to sound and feel like it could be a true story. For the storyteller, the story needs to have elements that you can really act on and get excited about. I like to do stories that get the audience to participate as much as I can.
Sure.
Before Spotlight on Kids became a theater company in 1994, prior to that, I had a partner, Susan Santner, and she and I did storytelling in schools. And we did, at that time, it was very unusual, we did participatory storytelling where nobody was doing that. Now everybody's doing it. But because we were both actors, it was easy to do this acting out and getting the kids involved. And, you know, different groups of kids would be different characters. And, I mean, we'd have, 120 kids in front of us, and they're all being part of the story. And from that experience is where I really developed my own brand of storytelling.
So what's your favorite story?
Oh, gosh. I really have so many stories, but one of my favorite is a Cherokee Indian story called First Man and First Woman. And it's about first man and first woman have an argument, and she storms out of the teepee, and he's glad to get rid of her, and then he starts missing her, and it goes on and on about how he's trying to get her back, and he eventually gets her back, and it's a story.
Sounds like the first soap opera.
Yeah, it's a story of love. I like to think of it as the first argument, but it's a fun story, and yet it really teaches you something. You know, sometimes you just have to stop in the middle of an argument, and that's all you need, and maybe the argument doesn't go forward then, you know, the fight. So that's been one of my favorite stories.
Great. Edie, well, thank you so much for joining us.
This has been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing this program. It really is, it's a great idea. How creative and artistic of you to come up with that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.